Hello gamers, this is MegaRaptor18, giving you episode 2 of my How to Fix Gaming series. Now this is more of a business aspect, well, quasi-business aspect than anything else. But I've noticed a recent trend in games, and yes, there's a reason why I'm playing Battlefront right now. At least showing you clips of Battlefront. Not only has some interesting moments, but it kind of fits into the topic of, well, if you read the headline, no story, no money. This is going to be my opinion on it. Games, there was a time that games and stories didn't matter. This was in the 8-bit era. And even more closer to the N64 era. But even then, that's when, ironically, the N64 era, and I don't know why, I just love this moment. Just seeing, off topic, just seeing a single bolt of energy take out 2 people, and another bolt of energy taking out 2 others, it's just fantastic. That's one reason why I'm getting this game, even without the story mode, the lack of campaign. Okay, back on topic. Well, this is still on topic, but you get what I'm trying to say here. The gameplay in this is so good, I can't help but not get this. And that's a rare thing for me, because to me, even in what's kind of started really at the PS2 era, when I cared more about the story than anything else. Because that's when games started developing stories. In the N64 era, not really much of a story. They tried to put stories, but it was all in text, and let's be honest, when you're a young kid, like under 10, you don't care about the little text scrolls. You know, the mindset was, hey, I'm playing a game, not reading a book here. I read enough books at school, I just want to play my games. But one game in the N64 era made me care about a plot. And it was really just a very basic plot, but it's also the main reason why another reason, like dual reasons here, on why I'm having Star Wars gameplay. I actually enjoyed the game Star Wars Rogue Squadron. It had fully voice actors in there. I don't know if it had Mark Hamill himself, I haven't looked it up, I really wish I did. But the guy who played Luke definitely sounded like him, at very close. But, I loved it. It was a fantastic game. The story was very basic. You're part of Rogue Squadron flying around doing missions. Very basic. The cutscenes were pretty much just aircraft flying. You never saw people talking. In fact, the little people you ever saw was little specks, just little specks running across the ground, which was always fun to shoot at them. By the way, you see enemy stormtroopers on the ground, you go in for a strafing run, just start taking them out. Oh my god, it is delicious to see that. It's fantastic. And they blow up, it's like little explosions. God, I want them to remaster that game. I want them to bring back Rogue Squadron. I love that game. But, if they're gonna bring it back, don't bring back Battlefield, this game's control settings. Okay, slightly off topic, and I'll probably make my own video about controls. But DICE needs to learn how to do flight controls. They really need to learn how to do flight controls, because it's nonsensical. You're locked in. Like your face, like the eyesight, for some reason of the pilot, is locked in. You can't look left, you can't look right, so that's why so many aircrafts crash into each other. Alright, because they're locked in to a single viewpoint, even though it's counterproductive to modern fighters with those advanced HUDs, at least prototypes at the moment. I don't know if they've been mass produced yet, but they have these specialized helmets with HUDs built into them. Pilots look around, and they're encouraged to look around, and they can lock on the target spot through that. But not in Battlefield games. Battlefield, not in Battlefront, your eyes are locked onto the target. You can't look around at all, which is very counterproductive for a game, a flight game. I want to back away from that for a second, because sorry, I just got a text. But that's not important. That's his own separate video, but that's a sneak peek, so to speak. Because I might actually do a game about flight controls, because lately no one's been getting it right other than War Thunder. But back to story. I loved Rogue Squadron. But you look at the story today, it's very basic compared to what we see today, but it does its job. Battlefront 2 had a very basic campaign. Very basic. They added some additional stuff to it. Give you some unique enemies to fight. I mean, you couldn't really play like Battlefront 2. That is where you could play. You play as the 501st Legion, an elite clone battalion, and you just go through the battles through the Clone Wars and the Galactic Civil War all the way to Hoth. They ended it at Hoth. I guess because they didn't want to show them being defeated by Ewoks, a combination of Ewoks and Rebel Commandos in Endor. I could get that. But what made that game wasn't only the variety of enemies, because you couldn't, in basic multiplayer, have Imperials fight Separatist droids. You could in the campaign. And those missions were always awesome to me. Also, you notice the size difference between the Separatist ship and the Imperial Star Destroyer. But what really made single player was the journal entries between the first and the intro, I should say. Sorry, I'm getting some distractions here. And the outro to each mission. And it's voiced by the same actor who played Jango Fett, who was pretty much like the basis for all the clones. And you need to just look it up. Just type in Battlefront 2 501st Journals. Watch them. They add so much more to the actual lore of Star Wars. And that is good. Alright? People always say the story was basic and it sucked. Obviously don't remember the 501st Journals. But once I say they didn't have a campaign, always ticked me off. Battlefront always had a campaign. Now, except this Battlefront. Though granted, Battlefront 1 had a very limited campaign. It was just called Historical Missions. So it was very limited. But it did its job. It was the first of its kind. First of its kind, DICE. You're not the first Battlefront game, so you don't have that luxury of not having a campaign. But I want to give it to you, though. I don't know why. As a fanboy of the original series, I should really just hammer on you for not giving us Galactic Conquest and no story mode. But you did such a great job gameplay-wise. And I actually had fun. I had more fun playing the demo than I ever have played Call of Duty in the last 3 years. So, for that, I'm buying you. But you can't get away with it in your Battlefront 2. You can't get away with that. You have to give us Galactic Conquest and a campaign. Like the title of my video says, no campaign, no money. I pretty much, like, you know, no campaign, no money. I'm going to keep saying that. No campaign, no money. Because not many games can get away with no campaign. Not many games can get away with it. This is one of the few games that can get away with it. That isn't a free-to-play model. That isn't free-to-play. Now, granted, when it comes to free-to-play, like with PlanetSide 2, I kind of want to know what's the difference between the other factions. And I actually did learn it, but I had to look at the Wikipedia page online. Now I'm kind of wondering, why do I have to do that? Why is there nothing there to at least tell me what the beef is between these three factions and why this planet you're fighting over is important? Why is it critical to them? Now there's other free-to-play games I play that doesn't really matter, like War Thunder. It's World War II. You're playing in World War II aircrafts and tanks. And it's a mixed match of both sides. But guess what? You can look up World War II, and let's be honest, growing up, I was a bit of a World War II fanatic, so that's why I love War Thunder so much. So it's one few games that, you know, no campaign, no problem. I know what the war was. I know the history of the war. But if I have to pay $60 for it, I want a story. Alright? I want you to try to educate a new audience to this conflict, almost like Valiant Hearts did. Or has it tried to educate people, like, in the most unique way, educate people about the First World War, which not many people know about. Which has always been kind of odd, because the First World War was... even recently, I started looking into it, even before Valiant Hearts. In fact, that's the only reason why I even got Valiant Hearts. Was that I was researching that World War, because, let's be honest, when in terms of history, the Second World War was just a continuation of the First World War. Because the embarrassment of that was the Versailles Treaty. The facade, the bullshit that treaty was, helped give rise to the Nazi Party. And that's why future generations now have to know you can't be doing this anymore. You cannot just punish a nation to the point of bankruptcy. And we've learned from that. At least I hope we learned from that. But that's enough of a historical jargon. Back to the topic at hand. Another classic example of no story, no money is Rainbow Six Siege. I was looking forward to Rainbow Six Siege for the longest period of time. I mean, it was like going to be my COD fix, since COD hasn't been good in, well, forever. But then I learned there was no single player at all. And they built up this story, though, of the white mask terrorists. They hired a top tier actress. Well, at least I consider top tier. I mean, I love her performance in American Horror Story. But it's just, you don't do anything with that? There's no story? No campaign? I mean, this is Rainbow Six, a Tom Clancy novel. I mean, you're gonna give us a Tom Clancy game with no story? Hell, even End War attempted a story. It wasn't faithful to the original book. Well, I'm hearing. Haven't read the original book yet. But it's like on my to-get list. But you're not even... I mean, that game had a very basic rudimentary campaign, and it was pretty much just showing how World War III began, and after that, you fight World War III. You pick either Europeans, Americans, or the Russians. Alright, it was very basic, but we got something. But you're not even going to give us that? You're not going... I mean, you set up this infamous terrorist organization. For some odd reason, all speak English. American-style English, from what I'm hearing. I mean, kind of makes you miss the multinational terrorist organization that was in black about 2 generations ago. Lately I've been just noticing that 2 generations ago, gaming, Xbox and PS2 era, and even the PS3 and Xbox 360 era, there was more detail to them. Not graphical detail. Because let's be honest, graphics don't exactly matter. They're just the icing of a cake. That's all they are, the icing of a cake. It looks pretty, it tastes pretty, but you can't just eat the icing. And I feel like they're putting so much on trying to pushing the graphics forward. They're now neglecting content. They're giving us the icing, but no cake. I mean, a game with like Battlefront, the remake. You could have given us like a bare bones basic campaign. But no, we're just getting missions, which they're not telling us what those are, which isn't a campaign, because to my knowledge, they're just scenarios, not campaign. And survival, horde mode. That's it. But because there's nothing else on the market at the moment, multiplayer wise, Battlefront will win by default, because Black Ops 3 isn't going to do it. They lost me once I saw the cyborgs. Oh, and they lost me when you can't pick. You have to pick their operatives. You can't create your own. I couldn't be generic soldier number 1 or number 2 and name them whatever the hell I want them to name. No, I have to pick their guys. I have to pick their moves, pick their look. But that's a video to itself, and that'll probably be episode 3 or 4. That's how much it pisses me off of this series. But a story, and this what gets me is just, sorry for the rambling here. This is 100% unscripted. Star Wars is known for its story. And you don't do anything with that? You don't do anything with that? You don't do anything with Tom Clancy? And this is becoming a dangerous trend. An extremely dangerous trend. And this needs to stop. I get it. Money, games cost money to make. And you have to make that money back. I get that. I understand that. But you're ripping us off here. It just looks like you're ripping us off. And I used to be understanding. I used to be sympathetic to developers. But lately, given the last few years of underperforming, this generation of consoles being underperforming, I have no sympathy for developers right now. I know that's hard for me to say, but I can't be grateful on subpar product, and that was like one of the arguments I hated. You should be grateful that they made it. I'm not going to be grateful because why should I be grateful for something I don't enjoy? That I'm getting less for the same amount of money I used to pay for. Let's say they increase the charge by 20 bucks on games, like $80. Well, I better be getting something for those $80. That was like one proposal, that increase the price of games. If you're going to do that, give me a reason to buy your games. Until then, I want single player and multiplayer. That's the basic. There was it's like we've gone backwards. Why? Because DICE, now in this game, DICE looked at the Battlefield data and think, well, people don't want single player. No. So, so they don't want it for Battlefront. No. You see, Battlefield, other than the Bad Company series, single player sucked because it had generic writing. Actually, stupid writing. I want to admit, Battlefield 4 was flat out stupid when they came up with Chinese Jesus. Chinese Jesus shows up and saves the day. That just always infuriated me. Oh, and the 3 choice, you had to pick which of your teammate dies, and there was no option for you to die. What if I liked Irish and Hannah to the point that I would like to blow myself up to take out the Chinese destroyer? Why didn't I have that option? Huh? Where was that option? No. The 3 options: let the Valkyrie get destroyed, or let Irish die or let Hannah die. No option of you going down to the fucking ship and blowing it up yourself. No. You see, that's the problem. Okay, this is going to a Battlefield 4 rant. Irish, at least they hinted, Irish had a family. Okay? Hannah could be someone useful to the reformation of the People's Republic of China under Chinese Jesus. What the fuck does Wrecker have? Oh, I forget, I'm sorry. Wrecker is just a mute that you have no clue who he is. Yes, I called Wrecker a mute. And he had nothing. You don't know who he is. He's anonymous pretty much. For all I know, he's a fucking Jango Fett clone. So why can't I get the option of sacrificing my character? Because I have no connection with him. I have zero connection with the character. And honestly, his death would probably bring the less grief. Because you have no clue he has a family. And in fact, I'm kind of inclined he doesn't have a family. But no, I have to sacrifice the family man or the woman who might have some influence in this the reformation of China under Chinese Jesus. So that's why no one plays your games, DICE. Plays your single player because you suck at it. The last time you had a great single player campaign in Battlefield was Bad Company 1 and 2. That's because we cared about the characters. You could have done that with Star Wars. You could have done something great with Star Wars. It's a great property. But you did nothing. Like with Rainbow Six Siege. You had a great property you could do something with. You had Tom Clancy. You had the novels to help you out. Even if you weren't allowed to use the characters per se, you could have set it in that same universe. You could have attempted a Tom Clancy-esque story. But you didn't. You went the easy route. You went the lazy route. I'm sorry. I know that sounds hard for me to say. I know making these type of games, wonderful as they are, is a very hard and arduous process. And I mispronounced that word, I think. I don't care. I'm just so like hyper right now. I don't care about pronunciations nor grammar. You had such property under your sway, and you dropped the ball, both of you. But the only reason DICE is going to get away with it is because the multiplayer scene is pretty dry at the moment. And let's be honest, this is part of my language. This is fucking Star Wars. You could have had a shitty campaign and get away with it. In fact, I would rather you had a shitty campaign. Because hey, it's Star Wars, man. It's fucking Star Wars. So, in the next game, you have no excuses for not having a campaign. Because you got the formula set. Just like in Battlefront 1. They set the formula, then they expanded it and they improved on it. They gave us in Battlefront 2, they gave us a better version of Galactic Conquest. That required you to think strategically on the campaign map. I mean, you always had to get that second fleet and place it in a crossroad area so the Separatists, or whoever you play as, the Separatists or the Republic or the Empire or Rebels, don't like attack a planet while you're on the other side of the galaxy. Always had a fleet stationed at a crossroad area, and you just kept stopping the enemy fleet from passing through. That's what Battlefront did. Battlefront 2 did. So, you're getting a pass for this game. This game, you're getting a major pass, DICE. And you don't want to get away with it because, let's be honest, Ubisoft, for me, they're not getting my money. Because, no story, no money. No story, no money. No campaign, no money. This has no campaign. But you're getting my money. And I'm viewing it as an investment. You are getting an investment from me, DICE. For the future. Oh, and DICE, one more thing. And this goes for all you guys. Goes for you, Activision. Season passes should never cost $50 fucking dollars. $30 max. See, Fallout 4, which is giving us outstanding amount of detail in its content. You know how much that season pass is going to cost? $30. $30. And they're giving us more content with an outstanding single player. See, that's why I'm not going to feel sad, because I'm also this Christmas I'm going to get myself Fallout 4. So I'm going to get my single player fix. Let me fix this real quick. Battlefront, I'm getting my multiplayer fix. I'm already paying $120 just so I can get my multiplayer fix and my single player fix. So, Dice, why do you feel entitled to $50 more from me? What makes you think that? Oh, and also you don't even get the details right, by the way. You said you want to get the details right when it comes to Star Wars. This is a somewhat different topic. Why in the trailer, I hope it's just in the trailer only, but why is the Slave 1 flaps, wing flaps, not locked in position like it should be? Also, why is Leia wearing her Hoth outfit in Tatooine? I mean, she wasn't wearing that just for style. You know, she wasn't going, hey, look at my sexy white coat. No, that coat kept her warm. So you're going to send her into the desert with that white coat to die of heat stroke. So what? That's probably what's going to kill Princess Leia. It ain't Boba Fett. Boba Fett ain't a threat to Princess Leia. Heat stroke is the fucking threat to her at this point. Oh, and Luke freezing to death on Hoth because he's wearing his Endor outfit. You couldn't just put a coat on, a basic white coat on Luke with a lightsaber, and you couldn't just give Leia brown or green coat. I mean, listen, I get it. There's only so many character models you can have. But are you really going to screw up something basic? I mean, I don't want my characters dying of heat stroke. Or freezing to death from or suffering from some form of hypothermia. No wonder the health bar goes down drastically. There isn't a gameplay balance. The elements are fucking killing them. I mean, Luke, God bless his soul, he's freezing to death, and Leia, you know her health bar is going to go down just as faster than anyone else, because the bitch is having a heat stroke. She's going to pass out. They ain't going down because they got hit. No, they're fucking passed out. They're like the elements are causing them to pass out. Might as well put a fucking corset on them and have the circulation cut them off. That's pretty much what you did. I know it's like a minor thing that just irks the shit out of me, but it does. Okay, recap. No campaign, no money. No story, no money. I know I've repeated that phrase so often, but Rainbow Six has pretty much learned I ain't paying for no content. No story mode. And Battlefront is the only series that's going to get away with it for this edition. Next edition, you ain't getting away with it. I've rambled off for long enough. Went off topic a couple of times, but even for those small micro off topics, I will go to them in greater detail in the next video. So this is MegaRaptor 18, and see you later.